Okay, welcome back. This is the third lesson of Chapter 7, Special Products of Polynomials, and they are oh so special, just like each one of you. Aw, isn't that nice? So, special products, which means we're going to be looking at two different types, a plus b times a minus b. So you notice a's, those are the same, b's are the same. So we're multiplying two binomials. It has a plus sign and a minus sign. The other kind we're going to be looking at are when you have a square of a binomial. So that's a plus b squared on the outside, okay, and a minus b squared on the outside. We have some formulas to help us multiply these and to get those done a little bit quicker. So what we're looking at, that's from the other one. So these are our two formulas, and we're going to start with this one, the square of a binomial. So a square of binomial, there's a pattern to it. Now you can FOIL this. So if you have something like x minus 2, sorry, let me get that out of the way. Let's go x plus 2 squared. If you are squaring something, that means you multiply it by itself. So you have to take x plus 2 times x plus 2, and then you can double distribute. You can FOIL that. However you get it, you're going to get x squared plus 4x plus 4. It does not equal x squared plus 4. Okay? So this has a middle term called a linear term. This one has that. So when you see a squared on the outside of a binomial, this is not a monomial. Monomials you can distribute through there. Something like 2x to the third power. You can say, okay, that's 2 to the third power, x to the third power, 8x cubed. Not this one. When it's a binomial or a trinomial, whatever, you have to take it times itself that many times. So the shortcut here, notice, is you're going to square the first part. So x squared is x squared. This 4 is going to come from multiplying these two parts together and then doubling it. Remember, when you are FOILing this, you have an outside plus an inside, but notice they are the same, 2x and 2x. So if you just take 2 times x and double it, you'll get your 4x, and then the last one is the 4. So you notice the x squared and the 4 are part of your answer, but you have to have that middle term of 4x. So this is where this formula comes into play. You have a plus b squared, so you're going to square the first term. So you square the first term, a squared. Let's write that down here. So now you have 2ab. So you multiply both parts together and double the value. Multiply both parts together, double the value. B squared, I'm just going to square the last term. So a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. The only difference between the first two is if there's a plus, it's going to be a plus there. If it's a minus, it's going to be a minus right there. That's the only difference between a plus and a minus. Okay? Everything else falls in the same categories. So we're going to apply that, then we'll go look at what they call the sum and difference pattern. That's when you have a sum and a difference. Okay, so this is page 217. In exercise 1 through 18, find the products. So this is a sum of a square of a binomial. Square of a binomial. So you're going to square the first term, a squared. You're going to take a times 3, and then you're going to take that times 2. You're going to double it. A times 3 times 2. So a times 3 is 3a, times 2 is 6a. So a squared, a times 3 is 3a, double it to 6a, and then 3 squared is 9. So we have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. In this case, b equals the 3. A is going to be a. Okay, so a squared is a squared. 2 times a times 3 is 6a. 3 squared is going to be 9. So here, b minus 2 squared, there's a minus sign, so your second term has to be a negative. So in this case, this is a minus b squared. So in this case, a is the b, and the b is the 2, which kind of gets confusing. That's kind of weird. So let's talk about what I walked you through there. So you're going to square the first term. So b squared is, everyone say together, b squared. Or not to be squared, that is the question. b times 2 is 2b. So we're going to have to take b times 2, and then we have to double it. So b times 2 is 2b, times 2 is going to be 4. Now this is a minus 4b because you have a minus sign there. You can think of it as a b times a negative 2. And then you square the last one. 2 squared is 4. That's going to be a plus. It's a negative 2 times negative 2. That is a plus. So b squared minus 4b plus 4. Okay, once you try the next one, pause it, try the next one. Okay, you should have c squared, which is c squared. c times 4 is 4, and then you have to double it, so you get plus 8c, and then plus 16 should be that one. These answers are actually called perfect square trinomials, because they factor down into a perfect square. Okay, it should be 4x squared. Negative 2x times 1 is negative 2x. Double it, so minus 4x plus 1. 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. 9x squared minus, that'd be 6, so that'd be minus 12x plus 4. 16p squared, negative 4 times negative 3 times 2. Ooh, because you have two minus signs. So negative 4 times negative 3 times 2 would be 24. That would be a plus 24 because you have two negative signs in there, not just one of them. And then plus 9. Double variables, no problem. Here you got 3x times 2y times 2. So that's 6xy times 2, that is 12xy. And then plus 4y squared at the end. Make sure you square the 2 and square the y. So 2 squared is 4, y squared is y squared. Again, this is too fast. Go back, pause it, go watch it again. 4a squared, that's 6, that'd be 12 minus 12ab plus 9b squared. You see how we want to be able to do this in our head. So I'm going to square this, 16c squared. I'm going to take them times each other, and then times 2, so that's negative 20, so negative 40 CD, and then I'll square that, so that's plus 25d squared. Okay, so there are your squares of binomials. Now we're going to start looking at sum and difference of those squares. Okay, so the pattern for that, back on page 216, this one's actually a little bit easier. You have a plus b times a minus b. So you have to have the same terms. One has a plus, the other has a minus. So if you would FOIL these, or double distribute, your middle terms cancel off. So middle terms canceled off. Okay, so then you're just left with a squared minus b squared. So if I was going to double distribute this, I'd get x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 9. Those cancel off, leaving me with x squared minus 9. So the shortcut is to take x times x minus 3 times 3. X times x is x squared, 3 times 3 is 9. So I recognize on these problems right here, hey, it's the same one. Can you figure out what this one is? X times x, I notice I have x3, x3. So same and same, a minus and a plus. So x times x is x squared. Negative 3 times 3 is minus 9. So x squared minus 9 would be that product. Q plus 5, q minus 5. Q's and 5's. So q squared minus 25. Okay, pause it, try the next one. T times t is t squared. 11 times 11 is 121 minus 9. So t squared minus 121. Do not do the shortcut on the ones up above. This only works when you have two different parts. One has a plus, one has a minus. Ooh, we got some fractions showing up. So 25a squared minus 1. If I don't get to all the examples, I have put the solutions to all the student journals in the Google Drive folder that I shared with you. It should be 1/16 b squared minus 1, 1/4 c squared minus 1/9, m squared minus 4n squared would be that one. Back up here, 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/9. 9j squared minus 4k squared. So you notice how the front ones have negative signs, but the important part is that's a plus, that's a minus. Those have to be different right there. If it's a negative and negative, that's okay. Oh, see this one? Those are both pluses, but that's a plus and that's a minus. So that'd be negative 36a squared plus 1/4 b squared. Or you can write it 1/4 b squared minus 36a squared. Okay, and that is all I put on the assignment. These, they want you to figure out the middle. So 18 is 20 minus 2. 22 is 20 plus 2. So you can use our formula we just had. 20 times 20 is 400. Minus 4, you get 396. Allows you to do some mental math like that. Same thing with something like this. You have 20 plus 0.7 squared. So it'd be 20 squared plus 20 times 0.7 doubled plus 0.7 squared. Supposedly that's easier mentally. Calculator works also. Okay, so that is it. I'll pull, there's some couple of different word problems here. Find the product, that's what you're doing there. Right here, write a polynomial that represents the area of the square. So remember, a square is length times height. So this length, or length times width, this length is x plus 4. That's represented as x plus 4. Okay, and so this is x plus 4 times x plus 4. You multiply that out, put your answer in there. This would be, there's two x's, so this is 2x plus 7 squared, because you want to square. You could write that up here as well, x plus 4 squared, and then multiply that out. 7n minus 5 squared, 4c plus 4d squared. Figure those, and that's what you have. And then it's just the sum and difference pattern that they have there. These are called difference of squares here at the end. And that's it. Now after this, we're getting into a little bit of graphing and using the intercepts and finding the zeros, stuff that when you get to Algebra 2 that you'll need to know. So good luck. Let me know questions you have, and we'll see you soon. Stay Bluebird strong.